Welcome to 1111, which is a segment from my podcast where I talk about a topic for 11 minutes and 11 seconds. Today's topic is so whenever I struggle with like creating content or like, just doing whatever, I always like to go back to the stem of this. Like, for example, in boxing, we've been doing this. Like, what is your initial goal? Like, what was your initial goal to come to boxing every single day or whatever? And I've been asking myself that question with a lot of things as I maneuver through life or my day. And this podcast or my YouTube, I always kind of do it for like when I have kids or like my nieces and nephews or my cousins or whoever whatever, myself, whoever watches this and they're like, wow, I would like some advice or I would like to, do this or learn that or see what like is going on in someone's brain. I feel like that's top notch. Like, I'm sorry if you just heard like so much back noise outside. I'm sorry. Um, but that is like 100,000% my goal is to be able to like just create a comfort spot or comfort space for someone, and then being able to like be like, oh, tight. So today's question is how to love yourself. That is a very like, I would say, easy hard question, because I feel like once you get the answer you're like, oh. But I feel like it is very hard because in a way I feel like socially or I feel like socially everyone's like love yourself, but no one's like how do I love myself? Like, yeah, I love myself, but how do I do this? Like, okay, I love myself, now what? So if you have to watch this on my YouTube. I have those like silly effects from the photo booth filter. Um so basically, I read this essay a couple days ago, and it was saying how when you back in your past lives, it was about reincarnation. And we got into a paragraph about past lives and how when you fall in love with someone in your past lives, as when you reincarnate, you like bring back some of their features, or like you choose their features. For example, like their funky toes, their weird eyes, their bushy eyebrows, their weird ears, their oddly boxed jawline, whatever it is that either you don't necessarily like about yourself, or like things that people make fun of you for your parents for. That is what, you loved in a lover in the past. And that is why you brought it for you, because it is beautiful and you've loved it before. And honestly, that makes that makes so much sense to me. Like, I'm sorry, that makes a lot of sense to me. Like, yeah, you're right. I I do love myself because I used to love people with my eyes, and now I have them, and now I love them. That makes total sense to me. I also feel like people when people kind of like hate on themselves, or like they don't love themselves, I feel like I love to remind them that they're literally made of the same thing that sunsets and oceans and mountains and trees and plants and butterflies and horses and sunsets and sunrises and hot air balloons. You're literally made of the same things, dog. Like, let's be for real. We're literally made of the same thing. So why are we ugly? Like, who chose that? Like, who chose that certain features were ugly? No. Who chose that you're supposed to love yourself? Like, I feel like, okay, the other option is to hate yourself. And we don't carry hate with us. Like, that is whack. Like, that is weird. We love ourselves, right? So, I feel like I've made it like these little simple rules for myself to be like, okay, how do you love yourself? Like, what are the ways that you, Manny Rico, you love yourself? Like, what are some ways that, you demonstrate this? For me, it's never comparing. I, one, don't compare like places. I'm like, they're meant where they're meant to be. I'm meant where I'm meant to be. Our universe is working. We're aligned. We're meant. We're supposed. We're where we are in this exact moment is where we're supposed to be in this exact moment. And I'm not tripping about whatever the next person is doing. Like, that is none of my business. I'm okay. I'm pretty much a very like I mind my business type of person. Like I really don't care. Um, so that's one. I feel like that's one of the biggest ways for me. I do a lot of meditation, and I feel like that's the second way that I've shown myself how to love myself, because through meditating, you really tune up your chakras and you really like just inhale, exhale, and it just re energizes you. I've also done this meditation. I talk about this all the time, and I will never shut up because it literally shifted my whole world. I stood in front of the mirror and I told myself that I was beautiful 10 times, naked, and I just stared at myself. Naked, told myself I was beautiful. Boom. And I was like, yeah, I am beautiful. I decided I'm beautiful. Once you set your opinion on yourself, no one else can change that about you. Once you're like, yeah, I am beautiful. Once you're like, I am a really good kickboxer. Once I read a lot of good books, I have good taste in. Once you set these opinions about you, what everyone else says doesn't matter because you already said these things to yourself. So you're like, I don't care. And it's kind of like, okay, I hate this, but I feel like how to love yourself, you low-key have to have really like thick skin to not just allow anything affect the love that you have for yourself. Because so let's say like when you fall in love with another person and a friend is like constantly like bad mouthing this said lover, it kind of gets in your head and you start doubting and you start seeing the red flags and you probably break up. Well, when you love yourself, you're in a relationship with yourself, because in a relationship there has to be love for it to work. And so we're in a relationship with ourselves, right? And we love ourselves. Well, once we let all these like toxic people like, bring us down, or like even ourselves, like even if we're the friend telling bad mouthing ourselves, we're going to start believing that. And we're going to start, gaslighting ourselves into believing that it's true, when in reality it's not. And you're beautiful no matter, literally no matter, you're beautiful. Like, I'm telling you, don't let nobody tell you that you're ugly. Like, you're not ugly. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not smart. You're not, like, you're very smart. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not talented. Like, you're very talented. Like, I'm sorry, I hate to be like, oh, like, oh, why, like, like, be realistic. But like, if you can be as delusional as you can, why not? Like, if you can be like, I'm literally the hottest person in this world, what's that gonna do? It's literally gonna do nothing to anybody else other than, uplift the room and give good energy. Like, there's nothing to lose, you know what I mean? And that's what I mean. Like, there's nothing to lose by choosing to love yourself. And I feel like it is a decision. Like, you wake up and you're like, today I'm gonna love myself. All those things that I say that I hate about my body, fake. All that's literally just a social construct. Any body is beautiful, no matter what body you have. It is beautiful. Like, all of that's a social construct, right? You don't like that you get zits. Well, guess what? You're a human being, and we're meant to have zits. If you have a zit, just consider them a star constellation, like, because that's really what it is, a star constellation. You're the universe. Hello, silly. How many times have I told you this? We're the universe. We're supposed to get pimples to create star constellations. Duh. Next, you don't. What are some things that people don't like about themselves? Okay, we're gonna talk about me. Like, what are some things that I quote unquote don't like about myself, but Len shifted it into like, oh, you're beautiful. Hairy eyebrows. I used to hate hairy eyebrows, my hairy legs. I used to hate that. Like, I was like, ew, because in school, I went to school with white people, and obviously they're hairless, or their hair is literally white and you can't see it. Well, I'm brown and my hair is black, so you can see it. And I would get bullied a lot, and it made me like shave my hair. It made me thread my eyebrows. And then one day, I literally woke up and I was like, this is beautiful. Like, whoever decided that this was not beautiful is weird, is not cultured, is jealous, is jealous, is jealous, and I'm beautiful. And I was like, okay, one, I literally stopped plugging my eyebrow. I hated my unibrow. Love it. Literally my favorite feature. Whenever someone's like, what is like the favorite thing about your body? I'm like, my hair. Like, every part of my hair. Like, my, literally every single part of my body, hair, love. I used to really didn't like I used to really didn't like, wow. I used to not, I don't know how to word that sentence. I used to not like my voice. My voice was like, I was like, ugh, like, ugh. But then I was like, who cares? You know? Like, sometimes you really have to be like, who cares? It's beautiful. Move on. Period, done. Don't think about it. You're stuck with these. Also, we have to be appreciative of what we have. This is like a once in a lifetime chance. Actually, no, when we reincarnate, but you know what I mean. This is once in a lifetime. Like, this soul, this energy, this vessel, all of this, once in a lifetime. Like, we cannot be hating on this. This was a pretty accident. This was a beautiful oops. You know, in art class when they were like, that's a beautiful oops? This was a beautiful oops. And if I'm gonna hate on the face of beautiful oops, I'm not doing that. So those are the ways. I also do like a lot of self-care. I'm like, okay, at least 1 hour for myself, whether it be boxing, yoga, working out, right? Protecting my energy, who I surround myself with is very important. And that is the end of this episode. So I love you so much. Please be safe. Goodbye.